This video is going to show you how to graph inequalities. If I have an equation that says y equals 5 over 3 x minus 2, you know how to graph that. You know that this is the slope and this is the y-intercept, which would mean that on the graph, I would start off at, well, let's do this first. It's always easier when there's points. Which would mean that on the graph, I'm going to start off at -2 for my y-intercept, and then I'm going to graph with a slope of 5 over 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Look at that, a line. Isn't that magical? Except, I'm going to change something up a little bit. I'm going to ask to graph y is less than or equal to 5 over 3x minus 2. This is a slightly different story. The points stay the same. So the points don't change. The line has a possibility of changing, just a possibility. When you graph a number or an inequality for a single variable, we would talk about doing this. And you would either do a full circle, shade it in, or you would do an empty circle. And you would do a full circle, shade it in for greater than or equal to and less than or equal to. And you would do just an empty circle for less than or equal to and greater than, or for less than and for greater than. The same concept applies to this, except you're not going to talk about shading in circles. What you're going to do is you're going to give a solid line for the equal to's, and you're going to give a dotted line for the less than and the greater than. So because this is a less than or equal to, you're going to give a solid line. So this actually doesn't change at all in the way it looks. When you're graphing one variable, when you're plotting one variable, you would want to shade in a certain side. But to figure out which side you want to shade in is a little bit more challenging for this. You can't just look at the arrow and see which way it points. What you want to do is you want to pick a point on the coordinate grid. I suggest that you always choose the origin, 0, 0. And you're going to insert those coordinates into your equation. So because we're picking 0, 0, y is going to be 0, and x is going to be 0. So that means that when we simplify this equation, 0 is still on this side. 5 over 3 times 0 is 0, which means we have 0 is less than or equal to -2. Is that true? Is 0 less than or equal to -2? Well, the answer is no. That's false. So you are not going to shade in the side where the origin is. We're going to shade in the other side. And your answer consists of everything on this grid. And that's all you need to do. Let's take a look at another example problem. Let's say we were given, instead of slope-intercept form, let's say we were given point-slope form. So we're given y minus 2 is less than, I think I had 2 over 3. 2 over 3 x plus 4. Now, first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to graph this. So we're going to put our grid on here. Perfectly spaced, as always. And I know that my point that's going to be on this graph is going to be -4, 2. Remember that when you're doing this, the signs are the opposite of what they are in the equation. So I'm going to run -4. I'm going to jump 2, which is going to lead me right about here. And then I'm going to graph my slope of 2/3, which is going to be jump 2, run 3, jump 2, run 3, and I have a line. This line right here is not acceptable. Because this is a less than symbol, this line needs to be dotted. You can choose however you want to show the dots. You can do what I did and draw the line and then erase bit. I actually think it's a little bit more clear if you just do dots like that, one way or the other. As long as the point gets across, life is okay. But now that I have this, I'm going to pick my origin point, which is the easiest to work with because it's 0 most times. And it's just the easiest to locate on the graph. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this point into this equation for x and y. So it becomes 0 minus 2 is less than 2/3 0 plus 4. So the first thing I'm going to do, 0 minus 2 is the same thing as -2 is less than 2/3 of 0 plus 4 is 4. Now what I want to do is I want to multiply 4. Instead of just writing 4, I'm going to write 4 over 1 so that I remember to multiply across the road. -2 is less than 2 times 4 is 8 over 3. 8 over 3 is the same thing as, well, let's see, 3, 6, that would be 2 2/3. Now, this is a whole number. This is a positive number. This is a negative number. -2 is less than 2 2/3. The mouth is eating, the mouth of the crocodile, sure, is eating the 2 2/3, so that's good. That's true, which means I'm going to shade in the side of the line with the point that I put into the equation. So because I put 0, 0, I'm going to shade all this in, and I've just graphed my inequality.